Anthony.
Hey.
Look who stopped by to say hi today, Anthony.
Hi, Bill.
Cowbell Beal.
Hi, Bill.
Hey. Hasn't been on the show in a while.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, you haven't seen your buddy Anthony in a while? Are you digging his new clothes?
Ooh, look at that. There must be somebody new in your life.
Well, at least there's new clothes. Because I can't get my old ones.
Yo, she took everything, man.
The clothes are gone.
God.
I took one little batch of clothing.
That was it? Your computer and ran?
Yeah, like my computer and a few clothes and stuff. I thought I'd be able to go back and get the rest of my clothing.
No.
Well, the phone rang today in the office.
Uh-oh.
Rick picks it up. Do I ever pick up my effing telephone in the office? Ever, ever, ever?
Never, ever, ever.
Do I ever? I mean, we're in meetings. The phone's ringing. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not picking up the phone. I don't pick it up.
Why did I pick up the phone? What will we expect?
Because you thought it was the Hard Rock calling back to
bring us
lunch or something.
Right.
But why would they have my phone number?
Because I gave them.
Why did you give them my extension, knowing I'd never answer the
extension
phone?
doing an interview.
Well,
I
anyway,
explained this to you.
Regardless of how it happened, I never answered the phone. That. Oh. So now I picked the phone up. It's the Future X.
Oops.
And what? You know, talking about a couple of finances and things like that, you know?
Some issues. Sure.
Some issues.
Sure.
So I bring up the point that I'd like to come by maybe and get the rest of my clothes at some point. Opie. It's gonna be hard to get all my the rest of my clothes.
Yeah.
Seems that seems they somehow made their way into Goodwill. Our own Ziggy that we had on the show is probably wearing some of my shirts. I can get some clothes. Yeah, seems my clothes were bagged up and shipped out. Great. To Goodwill.
God, we could at least auction them off on the show.
Yeah.
Make some money for your defense fund.
I can't believe it. It's like, oh, yeah, come by and get some of my clothes. Oh, clothes?
Pants underwear, $4.95.
Yeah. Seems the clothing is not an issue anymore.
Don't feel bad, man. I had a friend of mine show up at a club one night wearing his work boots covered with tar, dress slacks, and the vest for the dress slacks. No shirt. I look at him. I go, Chip, what happened? Yo, Billy, man, she took everything.
Just the vest, dress pants, and
That was it, man.
crappy
That was it.
encrusted boots. She took it.
Big ass hairy chest with just the vest on, hanging out.
And he had to go down to the bar.
Had nowhere else to go.
He put the vest on and go, yeah, this works, man.
Yeah, this look good.
Yo, Billy, man, how'd I look? Friggin' Chip, man. Chip.
Yo, Billy, man.
Yo, Billy, man.
The best part of this story, Ant went back to his place. We've talked about it on the air, so I guess we could bring it up again.
Yeah, I had to get my computer equipment.
But see, at that point, you had a chance to get your clothes. It just shows you how much you really like your computer.
Well,
Priorities.
I only had a limited time.
Because at that point,
limited window of opportunity.
Speaking of that window of opportunity, how did you get in there?
Through the window of opportunity. And, well, yeah, no, because there was I was thinking in my head, based on previous things that had happened. You know, I won't go into any details. I was under the assumption that if I went and knocked on the door and she was home, that I wouldn't have been able to get in to get my computer equipment. So I opted to take the other chance, which is to just let myself in, let's say, to the house that I was paying rent on anyway.
Can you picture the neighbors?
That was me.
Hey, isn't that famous radio guy's butt hanging out of the window?
I was hanging down from cables through the roof, trying not to set off the floor alarm. I was hovering over it, and a little bead of sweat fell off my forehead and almost hit the floor, but it landed on my arm, I think. Here's the computer equipment. Let me just pop the disc out. Oh, I got to get my porn. God knows what kind of trouble that can make for me in a court of law. Yeah, I wasn't concerned more with my computer equipment than what was on that hard drive.
How fast can I reformat this thing?
Sink me for sure. Yes, must reformat hard drive. No, so I reclaimed my computer equipment, and now all that was over there that I figured I would go by at some point and pick up was my clothes, which is Goodwill. I still don't know the fate of my radio control helicopter. Something tells me, yeah, same fate as the old NBC traffic chopper. See, fared just as well as Stevie Ray's chopper, I do believe. What else?
What about that great mountain bike we got?
No, I got that.
You got that?
I got that when I went to get my computer. I strapped that to the roof. Yeah, that's how I made my getaway on the mountain bike. I asked Rick to borrow his mountain biking pants, and I strapped everything to my back.
Well, look at the bright side. There's some poor, unfortunate kid with brand new helicopter.
A brand new helicopter flying around with an FM Talk at 1027 T-shirt. Jesus Christ.
We should have a new contest. Spot Anthony's clothes on the streets of New York.
If you find any of my clothing, yeah, let me know. It would be some, let's see, WAAF Boston shirts. That might turn up. some NEW stuff.
Some beer and liquor T-shirts.
Plenty of Budweiser clothing. Oh, I got my golf clubs too there, Bill.
Oh,
so we could still play some golf.
Cool.
I love your priorities. It's great. Computer, mountain bike.
Toys.
Right.
The clothing was just
clubs.
like an afterthought of what I threw on top of the golf clubs.
Well, that's very funny, Anthony. Tragic, but funny.
Well, you know, it's life, Opie.
You're left with more than I
Anthony.
Corky Anthony. What were you saying, Bill?
Yeah, Bill.
You're left with more than I did.
Yeah.
You know.
Bill kind of went through a situation.
It happened to be summer. All I had was shorts and a T-shirt.
And you got, Bill, what?
Wiped out.
Everything
wiped out.
Can you retell the story? That's one of the funniest stories ever.
Cute little story.
You know, I had a story about how my last couple of weeks ago, my love life hit rock bottom.
Couple of weeks ago?
This story on top of that story?
A couple of weeks ago, something happened?
Yeah.
Your love life hit the rock bottom. Look, he's all. Look at his face. What happened?
It's embarrassing.
I didn't hear about this.
It's pretty embarrassing.
What happened?
Well, there's two stories in one, actually. I'm at the local watering hole, Pepper's.
Sure.
And Friday afternoon happy hour. I usually hang for a couple hours and I go home. That was the deal. I was ready to go home. In walks the nerdiest looking guy you've ever seen in your life. I'm talking crew cut, Coke bottle glasses, you know, the pencils in his top pocket, sits down, orders 8 shots. I'm like, oh, this guy isn't with anybody, right? Bangs, all 8 shots. Tequila, I think. So I said, you know, I got to hang out and watch this. Right?
You wanted to go home, but...
You know, I mean, talk about out of his element. You picture the front row at a Rolling Stones concert, right? 1969. The camera's panning across the front row. Bikers, hippies, and all of a sudden there's Pee Wee Herman.
Right? That's where this guy...
So he looks at me and goes, hey, you want to do a Dr. Pepper? I'm like, the hell is that? You drop a shot in a Guinness or whatever?
That's a Huntington drink all the way.
Yeah.
You know, I did one. I'm like, you know, that's not bad. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And I'm banging them. I'm like, this is pretty good. The last thing I remember was saying, I don't think I should drive home. Right? That was the last thing I remember. I woke up Saturday morning. Now, you know how waterbeds work?
Yeah.
You know, water displacement, buoyancy.
Sure.
Normally, my alarm clock is right at eye level. Right? I wake up, I'm like,
oh, no.
Why am I looking down at my alarm clock?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That meant somebody was on the other side pushing down on that bed, thus lifting you up a little more than you're used to.
270 pounds worth.
Oh, my God. Where did you
I'm
find
like,
it?
what the hell?
You don't even remember.
No. No. The last thing I remember was saying, I think I should get a ride home.
And you ended up with the chick that was 270 pounds.
At least.
Were you hypnotized?
At least. I was anesthetized.
Oh, my God.
Now, I got up and I said, you got to go. You have to get up.
Before any of my pals come over. I'll never live it down.
Oh, it's too late now. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I went back to the bar the next day to get my car. The whole place was looking at me like, are you nuts? I'm like, nah, you know. But, yeah.
Bill's nailed some pretty quality tail in his day, too, you know? Like, it's his reputation. He walks out with a heifer. It's like, whoa. He's slumming tonight.
I think that heifer carried me out. Put me in her back pocket and took me home.
Oh, man.
So anyway, I said, they said, you know the guy that was buying you those Dr. Peppers? I said, yeah. They said the paramedics had to show up, took him out on a stretcher.
That's a good night.
You were the lucky one, I guess, huh?
All-time low. All-time low.
That's a good story, too.
Been better off in the stretcher.
Yeah,
I know. I would have been.
Too funny. Bill, you're going to tell the other story or what? You've told it before, but it's a killer.
Bill had a
Well,
great
you know, I'm working my butt off. You know, I'm sending my wife to school to become an RN, paying for the house, and she finally gets a job as an RN.
I can't look.
Starts banging the doctor.
Oh, man. Oh, so it's still hard to swallow.
Yeah. Turns out to be my best friend's second cousin.
Oh.
Yeah. So, you know, I said to him, I'm like, hey, you know, what's the deal with this guy? He's like, oh, he bangs all the nurses. I'm like,
Oh, just give it up. Yeah.
Great. Great. So I basically, you know, got booted out of the house, took everything, left me with nothing. And, you know, my mother's saying, well, don't worry, honey. What goes around comes around. I'm like, yeah, Ma, right. You know? You know, there's no way this is ever going to even out. A couple of years later, I hear from my best friend that the guy gets in an accident with his Jaguar, bites off his tongue. And they can't find it. So I figured I'd give him a jingle.
You called him up.
I called him up. Remember me? Cat got your tongue? Dick. Yeah.
Wow.
I asked my wife, how's that feel? Like nothing.
He's giving you a little stub.
I love that story.
Oh.